We all did it all at the same time.
I feel all left out. I can't do anything. Woo!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Retro Repair Roundup, episode number 44 for this wonderful Sunday evening. Tonight's going to be a short little kind of hang out and get to know a new person in the community type of episode. Ron is out tonight. He is not feeling well, and Javier is on vacation in some far away land. So it's just the naughty kids tonight. It's me and Trina and our new friend Martin. Thanks to everybody who stopped by to watch the video tonight. Sorry. Thanks to everybody who stopped by to watch tonight. Again, remember to lasso that like button and spur that subscribe button. And Joe apologizes in advance. His mind is, I have pudding brain. I've had pudding brain this week. So things are badly scheduled, badly planned, and we're doing it live. So again, we're joined by co-host Trina. Hi, Trina.
Hello.
And our guest tonight, Martin Mack, newcomer to our funny little community who knows how to click all the buttons to make his camera do cool things.
Well, I didn't.
I do that too. I've got to press stupid buttons though, because I'm on Windows. Anyway, so. Martin Scarlet the Four Kuda says, Martin, what did you do wrong in a former life to deserve this? So anyway, so say hello everybody to Martin, and Martin, welcome. So again, super informal, laid back tonight. Martin, tell us a little bit about you yourself and how and why you get in the community, or why you're in the community like you are. Introduce yourself.
So, for those that don't know me, I live in the UK. I is super late where I am right now. It's 1 a.m. and it's extremely cold. Hence why I've got this this hoodie on, because my heating hasn't come on properly yet. So I got into retro tech probably about 20 years ago. I've always had an interest in retro tech, but my retro story kind of started when I was at high school. We had, I think everybody had like Apple computers where they were at school, but we were very different in the UK. We had Acorn computers and BBC Micros. So we were kind of from that generation, which they were interesting little PCs and well ahead of their time back in the 90s. I always found that their operating systems were way ahead to anything that was out there, apart from Apple. Obviously, it was only Apple and Acorn that were kind of doing the whole universal operating system that could sort of do everything. And they were also the first computer company that used the processors that Apple now use today. Yes, the
ARM processor.
The ARM processor, yeah.
Originally the Acorn RISC machine. Yep.
Yeah, so they have a lot of rich history, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond their control, they went into administration due to funding issues, which was a real shame. Just before the launch of a really good computer product, which I thought was going to do really well for them, which was the Phoebe, which another one of I think your community YouTubers just done a video on that particular machine, or started to do a series on that machine. Which was a sort of code name Phoebe, but it was branded the RISC PC2, which, yes, that's the one, the bright yellow machine. So I actually had the first RISC PC, which was the modular white sliced computer. So they did them in two iterations, the RISC PC 600 and the 700. And then later came the strong arm processor, which was the later revision of the beefed up processor variant. But they came with DOS cards like the Apple beige computers as well, so they could run Windows. They could do all the good stuff that the Apple computers at the time could do as well. And so they were a really fun PC. You could write code on them in BASIC. I think there was apps for them in Pascal as well, if anybody's ever written in Pascal. So they were a really, really good platform for kids who wanted to get into app development and coding, especially with desktop publishing as well and graphics. And then the Mac sort of came later after that. It was very similar to the Mac in terms of the environment. So it kind of just led on from there, really. My first Mac was the all-in-one Performer. The black, the Apple, what was it called? The Mac TV?
The Mac TV, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first Mac.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Those are cool looking machines. It's basically a Performa with the black shell type of thing.
Yeah, it was basically a Performer, but it was just like a special edition that they branded a Mac TV, but I don't think it performed very well commercially.
Yeah.
But I think they just eventually brought out another Performer with a TV card in it, which was essentially the same thing. But they were really cool machines. You know, not many kids had them in their bedrooms where they could, you know, play games and watch TV at the same time. But they were a cool machine, and I love mine. And I had mine for about 10 years.
Wow.
Because you never really needed to. No, I don't. I mean, and this is one of my biggest regrets, and this is what I said on my stream yesterday, is that a lot of machines that I had growing up, you know, like my Amiga systems, I had a Amiga 1200 and Amiga 4000, which I loved those machines, which I got rid of. You know, when you sort of settle down, get married, and you have children, you kind of like, your wife's like, get rid of that junk, and you get rid of it all. And now, you know, I think, I don't know what it is.
Or in my case, I store it in a basement and say, yeah, I got rid of it. It's fine. It's gone. I promise.
I mean, I've always had the odd machine lurking about, but never really started a collection. And I didn't think it really kind of exploded until the pandemic. I think everybody kind of got really into retro electronics, you know, when everybody was stuck at home. And I think that's when mine really started to start again. So now most of my money goes on old tech.
Nice.
Cool.
Which a lot of my challenges now is I try to buy stuff that are not fully working. So I try to repair most stuff. It's interesting because a lot of people will list stuff online who haven't got any knowledge of these machines at all. And they'll just say no operating system or 3 beeps don't work. And you think, oh, you know, well, that could be something really simple. So you buy it and it's just, you know, the fact that it's got a broken hard drive, which is great. But then you could get a completely unexpected machine where a battery's exploded everywhere, like I had with an SE30, where it was completely snowed inside, so to speak, with corrosion, which was beyond repair, which I then later decided just to retrofit it with an Intel NUC.
Yeah. And you replaced the tube with a panel and all that.
Yeah. I managed to find an LCD display from AliExpress, I think it was, with a controller board on, just to, you know, kept all the existing shell and everything, and just, I mean, it runs like a Mac emulator, so in hindsight it does everything that a Mac should do. I think the next part of that, to get that fully working, is to try and emulate a floppy as well. So it does everything that a Mac is supposed to do.
But like a real floppy drive.
Yeah. I mean, I have got an external like USB floppy to sort of put in there, but it's trying to work out how to get it fitted in there. I'm just waiting for my 3D printer to come back and see if I can
glue
glue
lots of super glue.
And duct tape.
Yes. Anybody who watches the show knows that's Joe's solution to every problem is super glue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know, because I did that with my camera over here, and now it's stuck to the arm, thanks to Joe's just use super glue.
hey, super glue works great, Trina, but you got to use it right. Like I can't help you with user error. I can't.
But you should have known. You should have known in advance.
Because I'm clairvoyant and know everything, like including how to schedule the stream on time. Yep. Yep. So Martin, do you have a YouTube channel or any sort of like internet presence where you talk about these kinds of things that you work on? Or
so the only internet presence I have at the moment is a Discord community where I have 4,500 members.
Cool.
Originally, before I got into the retro scene, I was into the Hackintosh community. So we used to get old Intel PCs, hack the firmware with Clover before OpenCore existed, and then we got into OpenCore, and obviously, we developed quite a big community online for the Hackintosh community. So we are the third largest on Discord. But we all sort of work in conjunction with each other, and we've got developers from OpenCore that sit in the server with us, and I don't know if people are familiar with there's a Hackintosh guide on the internet quite famously known as Dortania, which is like the Bible for Hackintosh. So we have a lot of the developers from there that sit in the servers as well, and they give advice on how to get your computer up and running with Macintosh. It's quite fun.
And I'm going to drop a couple links in the chat here for people to see that I'm going to grab from your Discord. That's got a period on the end of it.
I just joined your Discord.
It's formatting it dumb. Freaking YouTube. Stop being stupid.
The website's not live yet. That's been sat there for about 6 months. I'm still waiting to do something with it.
We'll just do that one then. Everybody ignore all of the previous comments and just look at this one. Anyway.
But one of my main admin is a guy called Corp New, which he has his own Hackintosh server, and I think he's got something like 30,000 members on his.
Oh wow!
So
wow, crazy.
I'm certainly not the biggest, but there are others. But we all kind of help each other out. So it's a nice community to be part of. It wasn't always like that. It was quite competitive years ago, but we've all kind of got to know each other, and yes, I mean, I'm not that involved with that anymore as much as I used to be, but there's a good team of admin on there that take care of everybody.
Cool, that's awesome, and I think it's cool to know and be aware that community is still there. Especially there's a lot of us we have a kind of small group of maybe like 100 of us that are, I don't know, the super hyper retro computing nerds. But I like that there's this Venn diagram overlap with the Hackintosh community, and it's nice to know that those resources are out there. I had played with the Hackintoshes all the way back in the early 2000s, right when you were able to start doing such things, right after the switch to Intel.
Yeah,
and
DVDs.
Yeah, and I quickly abandoned that process because back in those days, because it was still BIOS-based computers, every time the operating system updated, it broke it because it screwed up a kernel extension or something that wasn't specially hacked to run on your hardware anymore. And
yeah, it's a lot simpler now.
Yeah. And because Apple's still technically supporting the Intel architecture, it's still a doable or usable.
Yeah, we've had a recent discussion about this. We think that the latest operating system that's just came out, Sonoma, they dropped a lot of the Intel architecture in this release. So anything from 2019 or 2018 upwards was supported. So we think next year's release will be Intel's last. So the last two Macs we think that will be supported will be the 2019 series, so the Mac Pro and the iMacs for 2020, and that'll be it. So what people have next year for a major release, and I think that'll be it.
Yeah, that's why I had a client who was looking at upgrading their iMac, which was a 2011 iMac.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm like, you might as well go with an M series at this point, because pretty soon Intel is just not going to be supported at all.
Yeah. And with all the effort you'd have to go to try to get the iMac to run something relatively modern, it wouldn't make, you're halfway to a new iMac at that point.
Yeah. And I mean, we were talking, and I'm like, there's no point in getting another Intel because.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve. There was no point in getting an Intel. I'm like, we might as well, if we're gonna move forward, we'll get an M series computer and go from there.
Steve, we were talking about you before the stream started. We need the pole dance video. Make it happen.
I mean,
is he a mod on the channel?
No.
We were all pretty nervous when Apple announced that they were switching architecture, and we felt we'd all been here before. I mean, I don't know. We all remember the transition from PowerPC to Intel and how quick that was. I think we only got one operating system out of that. They did it in between, launching Tiger. So we got Leopard, and then during the development of Snow Leopard, we had a couple of betas that was supported a PowerPC, and then all of a sudden Apple just dropped the PowerPC architecture midway through Snow Leopard, and it was quite a bit of shock when they just suddenly stopped supporting PowerPC. And we haven't had that with Intel so far. We've had a good run with Intel through this Apple Silicon transition. I mean, the Mac Pro 2013, that was supported way longer than any Mac that I can ever remember. I think it was probably because it was sold for so long. What was interesting about the trash can Mac is that they were still selling that up until 2019, and you could still buy that refurbished at full, pretty much full price up until last year. So it was really bizarre. And I've only just made the switch really, fairly recently to Apple Silicon. I mean, I've been using a Mac Pro 2012 up until the beginning of this year, which has been my main machine, because they are still a crazy powerful machine. I mean, if you've got a 12-core Xeon based 2012 maxed out RAM and a fairly new decent graphics card in there, that is still an amazing machine in 2023. It's still quite capable of doing everything that you want it to do. If you're just a basic streamer or a graphic designer that doesn't want to do too much on it, then that is the perfect machine for most people, and that will still do everything that you need it to do. But I've got an M2 Pro, and what that machine can't do is nothing short of amazing. I think the technology advances that Apple Silicon have bought is been really, really good. And I think this really tells us what the industry's going to do in the next 10 to 15 years. I think the x86 architecture as a whole either needs to move towards that implementation, the same as what ARM is now doing, which I think they are slowly trying to do, or x86 is probably going to be a dead platform.
I'm feeling the same thing as well.
Power consumption. Everybody wants something that is cooler and faster. They don't want something that's running at 300 watts and have to buy, 400 pounds of copper to sit on top of their processor to cool it with a 5,000 RPM fan to cool it down. You don't want that. And that was the problem with Intel processors up until a couple of generations ago. So it's definitely interesting where silicon tech is going right now.
And from a low-level architecture perspective, I think ARM has got the has got the lead technologically on Intel because of the RISC concept and its ability to get more done on a simpler pipeline. The Intel has instructions that are 13 bytes long. It has instructions, extending instructions, There's all this wacky complexity built into it to try to make this legacy platform, or whatever you want to call it, be competitive. And it's just added years and years and years of garbage to it.
And this is where I think Apple made the mistake, because if they'd have followed the same path as what Acorn were doing with their processors at the time. So if Motorola and IBM had worked with ARM to produce a processor at the time, when Acorn knew what they were doing in terms of power consumption and compute power, I think the PowerPC could have been a very, very different product. And we could have been miles ahead of where we were today. But the PowerPC just ended up being this beast of a processor that just needed massive amounts of cooling, because architecturally it was designed poorly. Especially when we got into the G4, G5 era, it was just getting bigger and bigger and hotter and hotter.
Welcome to the G5, where you need actual antifreeze from a car to keep it cool.
And I've had one of those towers leak on me as well. They're not fun.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And they're quite rare now, them quad cores. The water cooled ones. There's not many of them about, and I think probably why. Most of them are broken.
They cost $15 quadrillion.
Yeah.
And 2, no bad words about the G5. Hey, Bruce, how you doing? And also, they have all corroded into a pile of molten aluminum.
I think it's just one of those Macs that I just refuse to have in my Mac collection as a G5, because it's kind of pointless from a software perspective, because you can't really do any more with the G5 that you couldn't do with the G4 in terms of software, because Apple had stopped supporting it. So it had no real there was no need to actually go out and get a G5. I mean, it's nice to have a G5 iMac in a white case if you can find one that works fully. But other than that, I had, it's just not something that I wanted to add in my collection. I kind of stopped at G4 because
I'm trying to sell an iMac G5. Hint, hint. Anybody interested? Yeah, I don't want to have to ship it to you though.
Oh, well, poo on you.
Yeah.
What's that? Canada. Is that a big silver one, Trina?
No, it's been sitting for about a month now with no.
Oh, is that an iMac?
Yeah, it's an iMac G5.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, the later ones with the iSight camera were really, really good machines.
Yeah, this one's the earlier one. It doesn't have the iSight camera. So.
One thing I hope on the new Apple Silicon is that they get a solid way to emulate Intel code. Only because, or like emulate it, like virtualization, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean,
because
they have the translation at the moment with Rosetta, which they handle pretty well, which is a better implementation of Rosetta this time around than it was the first time around. If you remember trying to translate PowerPC instruction into Intel, I mean, that was horrific. It was really slow. But
I'm wondering if are they allowing access to the Rosetta system for third-party I don't know, emulation platforms, like a virtual PC platform type of situation. I haven't investigated it a lot because I'm a Windows guy, but the reason it's a curiosity to me is because I very quickly, especially with the recent release of Windows 11 and its garbage fire of an existence, I would love for my next computer, my next main driver, like I'm sitting at right now, to be a high-powered Mac. but I do so much wacky hardware hacking junk that the stuff is like, if I plug this into Mac, there is no software that will talk to this button.
Could you just not run Linux?
I'm sure I want to. Yeah, no.
I'm sure they've just compiled a version of Linux now for the Mac Silicon natively now.
Oh, nice.
But I don't like using Linux as a desktop. It's just me. That's a personal thing. The reason why I like the Windows series since XP and the Mac series since Mac OS X is that it just works for the most part. You install it and the operating system does the operating system thing. I love Linux. I use it for my day job, for server stuff, for hosting all types of things. And it's perfect, in my opinion, for that. It's great for little Raspberry Pis, specialized projects where I need a core operating system I can put on something. I can compile it for any silicon I want and like tweak it to do the magic thing. But if I want to sit down and use my computer, I want it to work. I don't want to have to spend, what kernel crap updated today and now my graphics card doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know that Linux is a lot better with that now, especially the higher end, more consumer grade distros like Ubuntu, for example, or Linux Mint.
I actually ran a version of Pop OS quite recently on an open firmware laptop, not an open firmware, but there is like a laptop that you can buy that has not a BIOS on it, but it's got more like of an open source BIOS on it. I forget what they call it, but it's running a Pop OS on it, which is a really stable version of Linux, which I actually quite enjoy using. But Linux is really, really good. Yeah, for stuff like Steam. If you're a gamer, they've really, tapped into the gaming market. You've got all these new devices that are popping up now for Steam-based clients, which is, really, really good fun.
So you can say they almost upped their game.
Yeah, I mean, Linux has been around for decades, but it hasn't really sort of promised anything, like solid. Like you can always rely on Windows or a Mac to sort of do a specific.
You want to sit down, click a button, and make the thing go.
Yeah, but Linux hasn't really fell into
yeah.
that sort of category until now. You can actually use Linux for gaming, which is great, which is something that I've now started getting into.
If I were maybe 20 years younger today with the Linux technologies it is, I would have the wherewithal to try to do that switch. And now everybody's talking about all their gaming and stuff, and I'm not a big gamer, so that doesn't affect me as much. It's the reason why, even though I love Android and what they've done for the smartphone scene, my smartphone's a freaking iPhone, and the reason being, I want to be able to tap it and make go.
My smartphone was an iPhone up until last week.
Yeah, and up until, in my opinion, recently, Linux is suffering from the same thing that's the smartphones in the Android world have suffered up to until relatively recently. It's like it's a little more techy and it's a little bit more fragile, and that's just me. That's just an opinion, but whatever. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment of the stream, and this segment is what you working on. I'm going to give Trina the opportunity to go first on what she's working on.
Oh, God.
What am I working on? See all these boxes of gobbledygook behind me?
Well, that's what you get when you buy a whole freaking table at work. You did this to yourself.
Quiet, you. I didn't ask for your opinion.
You're getting it anyway.
I'm still trying to list all this stuff up for sale. I've shipped out a good portion of it. I still have Steve's. Hi, Steve. I still have your box to ship out. That will be done this week. And I'll be in communication with you because I need your address.
Speaking of Steve.
Yeah.
Eat mug. Yeah.
And what else have I been working on? That's been pretty much it. Yeah, just listing that stuff. Today on Daystream, I finally got through my tub of laptops that I got between work and work. So the work event and also work where that pays me money. So I finally got through all those today, minus two of them. But
You got some pretty nice Macs in that haul too, didn't you?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I was really impressed with what I got. Especially the last one was the sleeper one of them all.
Martin's got a wonderful Dutch angle going on right now. Are you like Joker from the original Batman in the 60s?
I'm in my living room at the moment.
No, he's not getting the reference.
He missed the joke. It's fine.
It's kind of a bit bright and
a nice entertainment center with the lights. I like that.
Oh, and what else have I been working on? So I have a GoFundMe page. I'm gonna do. I'll do a spot for. I'm gonna pretend I'm Javier now. I've been 3D printing this.
Here, let me show this
myself.
off. Everybody needs to see this. This is the coolest design I've ever seen.
Right?
what is it?
Yes. Go to my GoFundMe page. Donate $1,000 and you'll get one of these.
Does it
And I
deliver
only have
pizza?
Does it deliver pizza?
It better.
I think I might actually have the drive. This was found in one box, and I think I found the drive in the other. So I just got to marry them back together.
He needs it.
I need that. Yeah, I'll pay you dollars. Okay, and pizza.
Pizza.
Oh my God, dollars and pizza. Done.
That's awesome.
The deal is done. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. Yeah, just trying to get this stuff posted up mainly online for sale.
Cool.
Which it worked for one of the items. If anybody, by the way, excuse me, Opie. Hold on for a sec. Let me grab because I can hopefully do this without.
So how can you go wrong? Yeah, too true.
Hold on. Whoops, things are falling down. If anybody needs one of these cards,
Ooh, fancy.
I have 11 of them right now.
All I need is the stupid transceiver to connect to that connector, and then I could use one or two of them.
They're ISO. So if anybody needs 1 or 11, let me know. I have the market cornered on them, I think. So
cool. Martin,
yes.
What are you working on lately? Do you have a cool project you're working on you want to share with the community?
Well, I've been going through some hard drives today, so that was fun. Actually, I only had 2 that were dead.
Wow.
And those were SCSI drives you were going through, correct?
Yeah, I had there was 5 SCSI drives and they were all working, so that's pretty good. I got a box of drives from somebody that said, "Here, have them." Don't know if they're working, so that was my task for today, was to test them. And the dead ones were just the IDE drive. So I've got
yep. That tracks.
Nice, yeah. 3 4 gig SCSIs, a 19 one, and a 73 gig. So
cool.
Nice drives.
Hi, we at the SCSI definition group have decided that all of our hard drive capacities have to be some very, very odd, not round number.
Random, yeah.
Thank you.
I never understood
Preferably a prime number.
I never understood that about SCSI drives, why they were such oddball numbers.
Yeah, it's like 17.4 gigabytes.
Yeah.
The ID is just 20 gigs. It's like
I've got quite a few of these at the moment as well.
Chonker drives.
Some of those, by the way, not the one obviously in your hand, but similar ones will be going to Steve.
Yeah, well, these actually work.
I don't know if any of them work. I'm just like, here.
These 2 particular came out of a classic, Mac Classics, that were completely destroyed, and the hard drives were fine. These have been low level formatted, and not a single bad cluster on them. So really rare to have working 40 megabyte SCSI drives that actually work. So
Oh, and Steve, just a quick note. Speaking of SCSI drives, I found another one that I threw in your box.
Send Steve all of your hard drives. This is actually true. Steve loves going through the hard drives and archiving them.
Yep.
That's Steve's thing. He likes finding the cool stuff and making sure everybody can see it forever.
So my next project, I don't know if this works. I haven't plugged it in yet, but is this.
Here, let's make you bigadoodles so people can see. That is a.
Is it a Power PC?
Power PC 77,000 series?
No, it's a 630.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's earlier than I was thinking. Yeah.
So
Sorry,
Steve,
I was just reading the comments and
I'm reading the comments as well. Steve, what is your wife's favorite food? I will also pack that in a box so that you can give it to her. I got you covered.
Yes. Everybody apparently loves that Mac there, Martin.
Oh.
It's Steve is asking, is it a Performer or Quadra?
It's a Quadra 630.
Cool. Yeah.
So I think the difference between that and the Quadra is that one of them was a weird, had an L in the processor.
Oh, the LC, it doesn't have the FPU in it.
The math coprocessor. I think one of them was missing, whereas the Quadra had.
Garth is now shouting at the screen.
Yeah, I think the Quadra was only upgradable to 34 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
Or the Performer was. I can't remember. One of them had a max of 34.
The plastic will break. Yeah.
The Quadra had the full CPU.
Yeah, I've had the plastics off this, and the plastics are actually really robust on this. So.
Ooh, luck of the draw.
Well, yours is a European/UK model, so it's possible.
This is what I found out with the SE. So apparently the 120s and the 140s are the European variants of the SE FD HD. So they're essentially the same machines, but in Europe they called them 120s and 140s, but they are essentially the same machines.
And I'm wondering if the manufacturing processes, the plastics used were slightly different in Europe than here in the States, and maybe that's why the plastic's still more pliable. Could be.
I think it was probably but it probably had something to do with some stupid European regulation, like the USB-C port.
Thank you. Oh wait, you're not in the EU.
Hey, don't blame us. We left.
Anyway, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've got that to look at, and then obviously the Quadra 950 that's in the attic. I will eventually get that out, and Steve, maybe if you're listening, I may ship that board to you to look at, because I'm terrified of touching it.
Steve, you've been elected.
Yeah. It's been up there for maybe 9-10 years. It's in really good condition, like overall plastic wise. It's just, when you don't remove a battery when you're supposed to remove a battery, and yeah.
I sent Steve a board that had the same problem, and he came on one of my streams and yelled at me. Being facetious on that, but he actually came on one of my streams and was like, "Did you look at this under a microscope?" and showed me how much damage. And it's basically now a parts board. So
the only thing I know is that I know it chimes, but it doesn't do anything else. So
no, that's like 80% of the way there. Then that's good.
Yeah.
I get a lot of my old Macs from. I used to work for a design and print company, so they still use a lot of old Macs. So if you're familiar with press print companies that use like dye stamping and stuff like that. They use the old Agfa film big machines that connect via the old SCSI ports on the Mac systems, and they won't get rid of them.
That's the same as the print shop where I work. Still has 3 G3 towers because it has the ports they need, and they just don't want to. Obviously they can't upgrade because what they're printing to uses those ports. And
but a lot of
And
the
what they're
newer
printing
ones
to is a multi-million-dollar machine that they're not
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
replace.
exactly.
Yeah, but a lot of the newer technologies that are coming out now in the print industry don't require any of the older technology, so they're now starting to phase out all the older Macs. So the company that I used to work for, I still end up getting their old Macs. Like a couple of weeks ago, I ended up with 7 G4s
Oh wow.
that landed on my doorstep. Which is another project. I've got to go through all them to see what works, and I've got a couple of dual processor MDDs. I think one of them's a 1.42 dual card. I've got a couple of 125s, and there is a FireWire 800 there. And
hold on, let me fire up my PDP so I can print to it.
yeah, there's a couple of other ones as well, which is quite nice. But most of them have got everything in them.
Right.
Now I gotta look that up, make sure the machine I think it is. Oh no, that's way earlier. Linotype is an actual melted metal system. Never mind. Anyway, moving on. So my turn.
Yeah, Joe, what are you working on?
Everybody knows what I've been working on.
The weather.
Blue Scuzzies! No,
and the weather.
Yeah, no. So I'll get into this into a little bit of detail, and it's gonna be the what did you get and what are you working on at the same time?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me take a nap because it's going to be the same story.
Oh, stop. In case anybody hasn't been following, I got this TechScan MSI SpectraGen 4B character generator unit. And it was designed to work with cable companies so that they could have a public access informational billboard type channel on their system. And the reason I got this was because our local cable company, when I was a kid, had one of these units, and I just went on this, I don't know, hyper nostalgic. I need to find what this thing was. I ended up getting the TV. It's right down there. The TV that was used by the local municipality to monitor that station, which then got me interested in the unit. I'm like, I remember that when I was a kid. And then it took me years to figure out what the unit was. And then it took me years to actually get the unit. But I have the unit. And I've done a stream and some other stuff on this unit. But this thing it's the coolest, stupidest little 1980s, peak 1980s technology type of device. And my end goal is to be able to get it connected to the internet. And have a two-way type of system where I'm doing a 24-hour live stream of this thing and have customized messages show up on it that I can, I don't know, ping at it from the internet, or that I can let people send special messages to it, as long as, I'm careful with it and they're not saying, all race must die, or, bad insults, racial slur here type of junk, but, filtering it. But I think it would be cool for people to say, I'm going to be able to tweet at it and it shows something on the screen.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of a secondary thing. But
I know some interesting channels. I can tweet some interesting pictures.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it'd be cool if I could actually support graphics, but it's not that. But anyway, but one of the cool things that this unit can do is it has it has the built-in capability to talk to several what back in the 80s were wire services. So you could get Dow Jones stock data or National Weather Service data, kind of like the Weather Star systems to this day still kind of do for the Weather Channel type of stuff. Actually, the technology that was used in this was used in the first Weather Star units, because I guess this company built the first Weather Stars for the Weather Channel. So there's a kind of connection there. But this unit has one special feature, whereas you can install a card in it and connect it to local analog weather instruments and show the local weather on the channel. The issue is that to this day, no one who, I'll just say the community as a whole, has been able to contact who has one of these units, has a unit with the weather card in it. I know it's possible, A, because it's documented in the documentation, and B, look at the screen burn. Look at the screen burn. You can't see it because of the reflection, but I can see it. The screen burn on this TV that was used to monitor it has time, wind direction, barometer. It has all of that on it. So the unit, our local cable company was like, kid, have that. I want to be able to recreate that because I just think it's the coolest thing. So I've been going through the past week or so, decompiling the operating system in the thing to figure out how it talks to that unit so that I can give the unit raw data and have it show on the screen. Hey, Trina, tell us about your box of cables again.
I can't sell them.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on in Joe's world, other than the every other thing.
It's not you, Joe. I just been streaming since 11 this morning, and we're going out for 9 o'clock. So
yeah, it's good.
Yes.
Well, luckily this is a short one tonight. So
yeah,
I'm really interested. I'm really interested in the Power Mac you have in the back there, Katrina.
Oh, so this is a Power Mac 7200, I want to say. And I was just walking by. So there's a corridor that I go down to where my office is, and people drop stuff off on this metal shelf. And this was sitting in behind. Sorry, I keep pointing the wrong way. This was sitting on a shelf behind a printer for about a week before I noticed it. And I just coming back from the washroom one day, and I'm like, oh, it's beige. It's a Mac. So I took a photo and I went and talked to the person who looks after the Apple stuff, and I'm like, because he likes to hold on to the apples when they first come in case they need it back. And I'm like, do we really think they're going to need this one back? As I'm showing him the photo, he's like, no. So then I went and talked to my boss, and I'm like, so I talked to this person. He says I can have it. Can I have it?
Does it work?
I don't know.
Ah.
I haven't turned it on.
If it does, the built-in SCSI in it is garbage.
Oh, the built-in SCSI's already come out of it because I can't bring any hard drives home from work.
Well, I'm saying the actual SCSI controller subset.
Oh, yeah. So, but it's not going to stay here. It's actually going to Ryan of Everything is Broken Garage, who has put literally in the chat 3 times, mine.
Okay. Sorry.
Turn
I had
it
to
on
mute
there.
myself for a second.
That's okay. So it's going to him. I just need to get a lot of packing materials before I try to ship that. Because I've already broken a small piece of plastic on the inside trying to move things.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm like so very cautious of this.
Those things were frazzled 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What is the next stage of this quirky little weather machine process of yours then? Because I know you've been taking painstaking hours decoding lots of code.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how the computer or how the software talks to the serial chip so that I can determine how to talk to the serial chip from the outside to get it to show this data. Because based on the documentation, We know that it's possible to send weather data to a unit without the weather card via a certain serial port on the outside. So it's got to be able to do it. Once I figure that out, then I can publish that information for anybody else who has a unit and be like, here's the protocol for making this screen work the way it's supposed to.
But is it just talking to that serial port via another box with that card in it?
Exactly.
So that makes it more difficult.
So actually the next step, according to Eric's Edge, is more hair pull out.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. It's
just pull out your hair because you're so frustrated with it?
Oh, I thought Eric was talking about his hair.
Yeah.
I was
no,
like,
he just cuts his off.
Don't take any more off.
But yeah, so last night I kind of made a few breakthroughs thanks to you, Martin, some of your help and comments, and also Frederick helped quite a bit.
The brain.
And a couple other people in their comments was helpful too. I was able to identify in the source code by wiring a whole bunch of wires to the machine and figuring out what talks to what in what sequence. I was able to find the place in the source code where the processor talks to the serial card. But the problem is, when I look for any place where it might read from the serial chip, there's no place in the code that it actually reads from the serial chip. It only sends it commands to say, here's how you're supposed to initialize yourself. It never asks the serial chip, okay, you have data for me. What am I supposed to do to ingest it? So I can't get to a place to reverse engineer it to see the protocol of sequence of bits and bytes it's expecting.
Did you find out why it was shadow copying stuff from ROM to RAM?
I didn't get that far yet. And in the grand scheme, I'm not too worried about that. That's probably it's probably doing bank switching because the machine has way more than 64 kilobytes of addressable memory areas. And it's only a 64 kilobyte addressable processor. So it has to have some bank switching to move some memory around. And that's fine. That makes sense. But what I was able to find out was that the software in my unit is version 5.3. And the software on every other unit on the Earth is 5.8. So it's possible I'm trying to reverse engineer an insanely early version of this with a bug that never actually tries to talk to that external card.
I just had a thought. You know, the guys that, and Steve might know this because obviously I don't know about BCF in America, but they have people in who go to these shows that have like retro weather computers there. Would it not be worth getting in contact with them guys and seeing if
100%. I already did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Tech Knight was my first reach out. Tech Knight, if you're listening, hey, I'm looking at one of his posts right here. Tech Knight is kind of the guy in the United States around the entire weather star system, which has that tangential connection to this. He knows the people who know how this system works. This gentleman's name is Jesse. And Jesse runs the, I'm looking for the page, runs the cg-wiki.org website, which has documentation on all of these character generator units. And I reached out to Jesse, and Jesse's like, yeah, here's the information I have. And it's the exact same info you have because all of the information on the internet about these units is information I got. So he's the one who did all the stuff. So,
and this is why it's so important that people archive
your crap.
Yeah.
But the upside is Jesse was able to give me a dump of the 5.8 ROMs. So I can flash the 5.8s and upgrade my unit to the 5.8, which is cool.
Oh, nice.
But I can also decompile the 5.8 to see what the difference between the 5.3 and 5.8 is. And maybe the 5.8 actually will listen to the serial port. And then I'll be able to figure out how to get it to do the thing. So
yeah,
anyway, I'm done doing now.
It would be a shame if it was lost, all the information for that specific machine was lost because nobody's uploaded any information about it. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's all that's going on in Joe's world.
Oh,
other than building hundreds of blue scuzzies.
I just have Steve had said he has no more hair to pull out. He does. It's all fun. His lower face,
south.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he can pull out his beard, which would be fun to watch on a live stream. Um,
Do it. Do it.
right?
Do it while pole dancing.
Yes, we need to see more pole dancing.
Steve, which stream was that on?
Yeah, we can't
We
find
need
it.
to know the stream. I went looking for Mac 84 pole dancing on YouTube and got a lot of videos I didn't actually want to see. So we need to know this. Yeah, I am not disclosing.
And it's all in caps, so we're not changing his mind.
But yeah, so anywho, well, I think we're good for our stream tonight. I think we did an hour despite having 2 less people on here. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, now
it just goes to show how much Javier just can't shut up.
So yeah, now's when we do our little thing where we talk about ourselves. We call it shameless self-promotion. So hey, Martin, why don't you tell everybody if you where they can find all the cool things you do on the internet if you wish to share such things.
Well, there isn't currently a lot at the moment, but I am going to be starting a channel next year, early next year. I'm going to be traveling a fair bit in 2024, so I'm not launching anything retro or anything techie. My channel is going to be focused mainly on travel and mental health, because I think the world needs that right now. And so yeah, that's what my focus is going to be on. I've got hundreds and hundreds of hours of stuff that I need to edit and get out there, but yeah, my channel should be up in the start of next year, and then I'll start promoting them.
Awesome. And we look forward to that, and feel free to come around and let us all know when you got that live so we can all follow you on your journey about that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Trina.
Just one sec. Hi, I'm Trina of Trina's Technobabble. You can find me on such sites as YouTube at Trina's Technobabble. You can also find me on Blue Sky, Trina's Technobabble, all one word, no apostrophe. You can also find me here as a co-host at the Retro Repair Roundup. I also co-host a live stream every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern called Old World Tech Fridays. So make sure you tune into that. I am also sometimes on Dave's streams on Sundays. And otherwise
I'm on Blue Sky as well, just to put that out there. I forgot to mention I am on Blue Sky.
I think you made one post over.
I made one post.
Yeah, on Blue Sky.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna have to get after you. You have to post more.
I'll have to put some more out there just for you, Trina.
Perfect. But yeah, that's where people can find me.
Yes. This can be confirmed as Trina had to do nearly all of the work to make sure the show happened tonight because Joe's brain was in Arkansas. So.
And Trina's brain wasn't that far behind because it wasn't until Friday night that I'm like, Joe, is the stream this coming Sunday? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And Martin just happened to be backstage, on the after stream, after Old World Tech Friday. I'm like, Martin, do you want to be a guest? Because I had nobody else to think of.
To be fair, today when I was on Dave's stream, I'd genuinely forgotten about tonight because I was thinking to myself,
me too.
if I was gonna go on Dave's stream at any point today, and I was gonna end up being on there for hours, I was gonna go to bed early and sleep for about 12. And then you reminded me of this stream, so I was like, but it's fine. My son woke up half an hour before I was due to come on the stream anyway, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And the best part is tonight, so Joe and I are backstage, and I'm like, so did you send Martin an invite link? He's like, nope.
No,
I just figured you were gonna do it, Trina.
Yeah, and I totally
just make
I
things happen.
know, and I totally let it slip.
Yeah.
Uh,
'Cause
I
I was
turned on
just-
my computer, I opened Discord, and I was like, maybe they cancelled.
No, I honestly, it slipped my mind as well because I actually was like on Dave's stream for the entire stream working on these computers, and it just slipped my mind about getting a link to you. So I apologize.
I must say though, I before today, I've only just discovered how to use OBS properly. I've had a capture card for months that I've never plugged in, and I've had this new powered DB15 to HDMI connector that I've never used before, and I never knew if it was going to work because obviously DB15 converters are really dodgy.
Yeah.
But this is a HDMI with a USB adapter on it that plugs into a powered USB port, and then it generates an image from DB15 to HDMI at any resolution up to 1920 to 1080, which is really clear. So I don't know whether there's some upscaling going on in the adapter. But I tested it out today on Dave's stream, and it was actually really, really good. So I'll have to post the link in the Discord of where I got it from. But it's a good adapter.
Yes, Joe want make happen exist go.
I love what One Bit Fever Dream said. Trina's gonna buy Warner Brothers soon and be stuck with a whole bunch of more boxes of cables.
Hi, I'm president and leader of cables, Trina of
Right?
Warner Brothers.
So
Anywho.
Joe, where can people find you?
Well, people can find me right here on Retro Repair Roundup, the first and third Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern every month. Only the first and third, which is, of course, a reminder that we will not have a Retro Repair Roundup this next Sunday. It'll be a week after that. So, yes. You can also find me at jcm-1.com, where I am a purveyor of all old things to keep your old computer going, like blue SCSIs, replacement keyboard encoders, Y cables, and other adapter doodles and things to keep your old Macs and Apple IIs happy. You can find me on just about any social media out there. If you look for Joe's Computer Museum or at Museum Joe, you're going to find me just about in all of the places, including Twitter. Yes, I still call it that. It's not that other letter because that other letter is incorrect. Or Mastodon or Blue Sky or Threads or Instagram or any of those other places. So you go find me and I am out and about. And that's it. That's it.
So apparently Dave didn't enjoy having either you or I on his stream because he very much pointed out, I enjoyed having you on the stream today, Martin.
Thank you, Dave.
Period.
It was good fun. It was good fun.
It's because we're the troublemakers, Trina.
Yeah,
we're the one who constantly gets him in trouble with the YouTube censors.
This is true.
Right? Like, he has to go back and turn off auto publishing on his videos, and he has to edit them because we make all the bad jokes.
But we make the
stream, I accidentally dropped an F-bomb.
We make the stream pop.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Is it Dave got like a 12-hour stream for Halloween coming up soon?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Yes. Which reminds me, I have to compose some music for that. So
I may paint my face.
Paint your face with I'm
gonna become the Finder.
Oh,
that
nice.
would be awesome.
That would be so cool.
Do it in transparent ultraviolet paint, so we can't tell until you turn on the black light.
That would be amazing.
Yes. It's juggalos. No.
Steve said he's going to dress up as Ron.
Only if we get to complain at you about your how you're always taking batteries out, Steve. All right, well, that's all for tonight's stream. Again, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, Martin. Yes.
The devil.
Get the damn batteries out. Get
Hold
the
on.
batteries out.
I also have one as well on my desk.
Oh, the same.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, true enough. Here, let's hold
Martin,
them up together.
Oh, yes.
They are
I keep trying to do the script and we're just having fun. And I keep cutting myself off and you cut me off.
Sorry.
I have no social cues. I don't know when it's right to talk and when it's not right to talk.
It's okay.
But anyway, thank you, Martin, for being on tonight. It was super fun. We look forward to seeing you more in the community.
Mhm.
Always welcome to hang out, chat, and be a member of this crazy little group of people that is all crazy because of Trina and has nothing to do with me being crazy whatsoever. Thank you, Trina,
really
again for doing all
Oh,
the
and
work
by the
tonight.
way, if you look, it's
Captain Trina.
Trina.
She is
Thank you.
Captain Trina. Get it right. Get it right, or you get put in the brig. But thanks to Trina for doing a lot of the help organizing and reminding me to click the buttons to make the stream go tonight. Thank you to all the jeez. Thank you to all the wonderful lovelies.
Was that just like a wormhole that opened up behind
Yeah.
you? Like,
it's like, did you just like go back in time in the TARDIS?
yeah, right.
Thank you to all the awesome people in the chat who stopped by tonight to say hi and ask questions and do all the things. Again, remember, next stream will be on November 5th. Will be the next stream, so we're 5 weeks out instead of 4. And 4 instead of 3. I can't brain whatever. I don't care. We're done. See y'all later. Thanks. Hit like
Bye,
and
everyone.
subscribe. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Now will it